Back again with another nighttime voodoo story. So there's this lady in Canada. She ended up in a situation where she was dealing with someone and things didn't quite work out the way she wanted to. And this guy actually ended up leaving her. So what happened was she fell into a depression, desperation, you name it. She reached out to a couple of spiritualists. In her town, nothing ever worked for her. So she started Googling, looking to find out what's on the internet. And she scrolled and went through a couple of spiritualists, and it was just all the same shit. She was being yanked around. So one day, she happened to stumble upon this one video, and though she got duped by many spiritualists that she met, she felt something interesting about this one individual. She didn't know what it was, but she felt like this guy, he knew what he was doing. So she reached out to this guy who was of Haitian descent. And she told the guy the story that she's been to different spiritualists and all they did was take her money, they lied to her and this and that, you know, and she was just tired of the games. So this Haitian spiritualist was not really looking to be looked at as other spiritualists. And, you know, he said that, you know, he came straight forward and let the chick know, listen, I'm not like anybody else. Don't compare me to anyone that you've met prior. And he laid the facts down to her, laid everything down to her, laid everything down and stated to her this: if you want your target back, you have to comply with these rules and regulations. And he instructed her that as he does the work, things are going to scatter and hit random people, but it won't harm her or her family if she does everything right. He also stated to her that he couldn't give her a time frame, but he could give her a guesstimate or an estimate of when he thinks things will start picking up. So come to find out, everything worked out. The spiritualists of Haitian descent took a flight out to Canada, and everything was started. So, what happens down the line? The female client, she put things in the wrong place in her apartment, and what happened was there was a problem that began to happen. Her child ended up getting into a lot of trouble. Things started happening with family members, started getting ill. And then she called the spiritualist up and she said, why is this stuff going on with my family? And the spiritualist explained to her that he doesn't know at the moment. He needed to see a visual of where everything is placed. Because one thing about a lot of things in Haitian voodoo is a lot of things deal with placement and organization. If your organization's fucked up, things can go fucked up for you. So she picks up the phone and she goes live with him, Skypes him, whatsoever. She starts going through the house and you know, this and that. And he realizes that after he left, the young lady started putting things next to the work. And what happened was that energy started manifesting in the lives of the people that, you know, whose picture were around the work. Because basically the client had put pictures of the family members around, yearbooks and things like that around the work, close to the work. And if it's a demonic job, that energy is going to manifest in those people's lives who the stuff were associated with. So the Haitian guy ends up saying, you know what, remove all those things away from the work, because this is why it's causing all of that. So once everything was removed, everything went back to normal. Things stopped, everything with her family stopped, everything went back to normal. And what happened was, later down the line, things started picking up. New guys started popping up in their life. And this was like a one warning that the Haitian guy gave to her. He said to the young lady, be careful with the guys that you're seeing, because when you're doing this type of work, the spirit is going to send people to you. As you're trying to pull back your lover, the work is going to scatter and it's going to draw people and affect people around you. So what happened one day, she met this one guy, and the guy comes and he speaks to her and they hang out, and something was off about the guy. And then the next day she doesn't call him. So the guy calls her, she doesn't pick up. He sends a message. She doesn't respond to the message. Then he starts going off on his wild, crazy rant, tantrum. He calls her again. Then they speak on the phone. And this guy's saying he'd kill her and all types of stuff like that. He'd bash her brains in. And this is a manifestation that the spiritualist told her, is that these guys will become crazy. They'll become obsessive. They'll become extremely jealous. Yes, it's work for the target, but it's also scatters when it reaches out and touches different people. The person that is intended for can become like that as well. So that was one situation that occurred as movement was settling in. So what happened down the line was an ex that she was dealing with. This guy used to abuse her badly. I'm talking about from stomping her face in the ground to like taking a belt out and beating her, pounding her with his fist. This guy came back into her life. But the way he came back into her life was as a paraplegic. The spirit drove the guy back into her life, but immobilized. Rather say immobile. The spirit dragged that person back into her life, paralyzed. Only thing that I believe he could actually do was actually move his head. Because what happened was, he got into a situation, drug dealer, and something went wrong with a deal, and he ends up getting shot. Bullet hits his spine, so he is paralyzed, I believe, from the neck down. This guy would be crying. You know, they would hold the phone by his head to tell her, they'd hold the phone by his head and he would be pleading with her, please come down to, Jamaica to come take care of me. The work completely shattered this ex. And this is just a manifestation of the work that the woman got from the Haitian guy. So now, this is like months down the line, because this is not like a day or two. And all of a sudden, the intended target, this guy, and mind you, the intended target, this is the part that I left out in the beginning. The intended target actually had a child with a lady. He was never there for her. Never came around, never wanted to talk, never wanted to see his children, nothing. So it was basically as if they were complete strangers. So one day, this guy comes back, begging, crying, desperation. She heard everything that happened with him. The guy lost his house, he lost his car, he lost every fucking thing. The guy came musty as hell to her house, on his knees begging for her to take him back. And what she chose to do, instead of allowing him to come back, was she put him through so much hell to get her revenge for everything she did to him. And in conclusion, she didn't want him anymore. She let him go. Still to this day, she doesn't even know where this guy is at whatsoever. So the moral of the story is nothing at all.